specifically why we are not Calvinist.
Specifically, we'd fall into open view theism is where on our view on.
So we're the worst kinds of Arminians. We're the ones that keep Calvinists up at night.
Sanders, actually, I have the quote up here, but in The God Who Risks, Sanders says that when talking about divine foreknowledge and providence, the real watershed issue, he says, the watershed divide is whether God is affected by creatures and whether God exercises general rather than meticulous providence.
Right.
So a lot of people can kind of go off on a bunny trail saying like, oh, does God know the future and all that stuff? And that there's things to think about there, but really the real issue comes down to, is God affected by his creatures or not?
Right.
And is he exercising general providence in that he's working to make things go towards his ends at all times, versus is he doing meticulous providence where he is making sure every single thing that happens on earth is exactly as his will desires, right?
God actually gives us space to operate independently of his will and to be creative and surprise him. When they read verses, for example, like Genesis 22:12, where God says, "Now I know that you fear God," which suggests that he didn't know something and then knew something. Or even say Exodus 32:14, where God changes his mind about destroying Israel, right? Calvinists read these verses and say, well, these can't possibly mean what they say, because we know that God is perfect and God cannot change. Well, where are you getting that perspective? From Greeks, not from the Bible. In other words, the very people who say, hey, we looked at the Bible for our theology, are not using the Bible for their theology. When you start bringing your own perspective to God and start forming your own ideas about God and putting that together and making that your God, well, you start falling very, very close to the temptation of idolatry. And I'm not saying my brothers on the other side of this issue are idolaters. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we are getting close to that because we're letting other people and our own ideas inform God instead of just simply and humbly asking God what he thinks.